Radeberger Pilsner.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I have got one from East Germany, Lower Saxony. It is the Radeberger Pilsner, and this apparently has got a really good reputation. There's quite a few people that have this down as their favourite beer. I will get onto that in a minute. Radeberger Pilsner was originally brewed in 1872 in a place called Radeburg, which is a district of Dresden. Now, two things Dresden is famous for, certainly in this country. It's their pottery and, unfortunately, getting flattened by the RAF during World War II. Now, rather than have something negative come out of Dresden, this is, in my opinion, one of the positives. It has got a really good reputation. I'm surprised I haven't reviewed it before, because it's one of them beers that a few people have told me about, saying I have to try. I've seen it on the television, I'll tell you about that in a minute, and read about it occasionally on forums, heard people speaking about it, how good it is, etc, etc. So here I am with a bottle of it, and it couldn't have come at a better time, because I tried another one of the Burton Bridge Brewery beers today, and it wasn't as bad as the old Empire Ale, but it was not much better. It wasn't a great one, to be honest, and I've got that horrible yeasty dodginess that they use. I've got that sort of flavour in my mouth now. I want to get rid of it. As I say, this is a beer that's been brewed since 1872 in Lower Saxony, and obviously Lower Saxony is in the eastern part of Germany, and it was one of the favourite beers of Otto von Bismarck. Now, if you've never heard of Otto von Bismarck, he was the German Chancellor at the time of the Franco-Prussian War. Very famous leader of the First Reich. And his favourite beer was this. He liked it so much so, he called it Chancellor beer. And that was his favourite drink. It was also a favourite drink of Friedrich Augustus III of Saxony. He was one of the leaders, or the kings of Saxony back in the day. And more recently, it was a favourite drink of President Putin. Not sure whether you know, but President Putin was a member of the KGB, and of course Lower Saxony and Dresden, etc., was part of the German Democratic Republic, or East Germany, as it was known, from 1946 to 1989, and where President Putin was a member of the KGB, he was stationed in East Germany. He's a fluent German speaker. Whenever he meets up with Angela Merkel, he always speaks fluent German with her, and he always makes a point of, whenever he's in the European Union, of buying some Radeberger. It's his favourite beer, and it is also the favourite beer of Charlie Harper. Not Charlie Harper of the UK Subs fame, you know, the 70-year-old punk rock singer who is an absolute fucking legend. No doubt he'd love that, and he's probably drunk that before. But I'm talking about Charlie Harper. Do you remember that pile of fucking shit called 2.5 Men? When I first met my missus, she absolutely loved that. And I remember sitting through one episode of it and just thinking, this is a pile of bollocky dog wank. That is the only way to describe it. And that's the only reason I've heard of Charlie Harper. Charlie Harper, of course, is Charlie Sheen. Read into that what you will. I think they had some sort of sponsorship going on that, because it's an American program, but they do get Radeburger in Australia and the United States. That I know for a fact. Anyway, let's stop gassing about the history and let's start investigating Radeberger Pilsner. Right, it's 500ml bottle. It's 4.8%. I think it conforms to the Reinheitsgebot. Although, yes, it does. It says on Reinheitsgebot, everything's in German on here. Looking on the website, it really doesn't make much mention of the malt or the hops that are in there. It just mentions noble hops, and to be honest, that was the sort of hops I was thinking that, you know, that it would have contained in the ingredients. Now, they've got their own spring. They do make a point of having very soft spring water adjacent to the brewery, and that is what they use. The malt, that doesn't make any mention of that, and as I say, the hops are German noble hops, as you would expect in a German Pilsner. Right, so let's get this beer open and just see how good it is. Right, the cap is off. It is just a plain cap covered in silver foil. I don't think there is anything underneath that. Nah, it's just a plain silver cap. I'll probably just sling that out, no point keeping it. Let's get a little bit in the glass and see what's going on. There it is, very light, very golden straw type colour. What are we getting on the nose? Ah, nice sweet malt. And a nice earthy hop note to the aroma. And the water, I sometimes get this in German beers. I don't know whether it's my mind playing tricks on me, but I can smell the cleanliness of the water. Now that could be just my mind perceiving these earthy hops as a cleanliness that the water has got, but I'm getting that on there, and it does smell really good. So let's get the rest of it in here. And it does look good, I have to say. Carbonation is medium. And there is everything in the glass, yeah. That looks really nice, like a German Cornetto. Carbonation is medium. It does smell lovely, I have to say. I'm getting lovely sweet malt aroma from that. It smells like a good German Pilsner. Let's get it down the hatch. Zum Wohle, as they say in Germany. Wow. That's really nice. Wow. I'm almost getting faint licorice notes, very faint, on the arse end of it, which is really interesting. But that is super light, very drinkable, lovely, clean and refreshing flavour to it. There's some lovely, just as I put my mouth up to take a swig from that, I was getting, and I still am, getting very nice hay, or what some people call farmyard aromas from there, like fresh cut grass, that sort of thing. And of course that's coming from the hops. Really nice, and it's quite strong now. That's what I'm getting. It's like the hay, earth and hay, if you can imagine that, and sweet malt. That's really nice. Very, very slight gripe on that. there is a bit of an abrasive carbonation on that. I think that's going to go after a while, but it is there, and some people like that aggressive carbonation in the mouth, and they think it pushes the flavour around for them. It may well do. Personally, I don't really like it. I just think it puts me off actually tasting the beer. Now, you can argue the point about carbonation promoting the flavour, and you'd have a reasonable leg to stand on, because it does, certainly for aroma. For flavour, I will argue that some of the best Bavarian lagers and doppelbocks as well have a very, very smooth mouthfeel with hardly any carbonation in the mouth. Yet the flavour just absolutely floods out. So, you know, I will put that case across, saying that I don't particularly think that carbonation in the mouth promotes flavour. Yes, I will give you, it does promote aroma. There's no question about that. Flavour in the mouth, I would argue differently. That's just my take. Anyway, let's have another go. It's really nice. I am noticing a really bitter aftertaste, but it comes in waves. So when you first take your mouthful, yeah, you get quite nice sweet malt on that, little hop bitterness, not much lemon citrus to be honest, which is unusual. Then as it goes down, you do get that nice sweet doughy malt flavour you get from German Pilsners, but this one you do get a rush of bitterness, of hop bitterness, I think, that's earthy and spicy, you know, with the black pepper from them, what I can only assume are Hallertauer hops, or possibly even Spartan hops, I'm not sure, but it's got that bitterness that I quite like actually on a Pilsner. I find it in the Czech Pilsners, you get it sometimes as well with the Saaz hops, but of course the noble hops share similar qualities. There's subtle differences between them and their variations, but all in all, I have no complaints about this whatsoever. So what's the verdict on Radeburger? Yeah, I like it. It has got everything I would expect from a decent German Pilsner. One thing that makes it stand out from the others is the real hop bitterness on the finish. Now when I say hop bitterness, I'm not talking, you know, the citrus that you get in American style hops. This is earthy and spicy bitterness that you get in them German noble hops, and sometimes you do get them in British hops as well, but it's mainly the German noble hops, and it really does make a difference. I think that gives way. I think you're trading that for the lemon citrus. There's not much lemon citrus in this at all, and it has quite a bitter flavour, which is offset by the sweet malt that you get on this thick, doughy, sweet, bready type malt. All in all though, it's really nice. I can half see why, you know, Vladimir Putin likes this stuff. It is a good one, I have to say. Certainly not the best German Pilsner, but yeah, it's up there. It is a good one. I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10. It's a solid Pilsner. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'd imagine if you were in East Germany, in fact, I was in East Germany, in a place called Halle, which is not too far from, is it Dresden? No, that's near Chemnitz. I do apologise. I never noticed this. I would have thought this type of beer would have been more popular in that region, but I've heard that the Germans are quite loyal to their local brewers, and I didn't see Radeberger at the time, but if ever I'm in Dresden or East Germany, which is not beyond the realms of possibility, I would be looking out for Radeberger, because that is going to be marked down as a very nice German Pilsner. 8.5 out of 10, recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.